All right, are we getting levels? Yeah, there we go. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Live from a NASCAR bunker in Kyle's parents' basement, it's Turn the Radio Off with Mike Parsons and Kyle Bauer.
Turn it off, turn it off, turn the radio off. Don't you know we're turning into zombies? Turn it off, turn the radio off. Turn it for yourself for once in your life.
Become a fan at Facebook.com/TTRO Show. Follow along on Twitter.com/TTRO Show. Or just listen right now. It's Turn the Radio Off.
From my basement to the Golden Tower of the Fisher Building, we are...
The Golden what?
The Golden Tower.
Oh!
The eighth floor of the Fisher Building.
What kind of a show is this?
What'd you think I said, you pervert?
Nothing.
We are broadcasting pre-recorded from a broom closet at my place of business. And in case you haven't noticed, that's not Kyle Bauer's voice.
It could be if you want it to be.
Jeez, I can't do the show today, Mike. I gotta go to a pond hockey tournament in Canada.
I'm gonna cut my cat's toenails.
That's important. Well, you know what?
I don't disagree.
A pond hockey tournament.
Is that why he's not doing the show?
Yeah.
That's not real.
For a pond hockey tournament for grown adults is about as important as doing a podcast to nobody. So I'll give him a pass. And for those of you,
except with less algae,
right, dying of suspense, wondering what that sultry, dulcet voice is in place of Kyle's nasally whine, you may recognize him from the start of the show. Do I call you Rich Luzenski or do I call you Rich Meister, which is the alter ego that you have cultivated recently, has really taken off?
Whichever you like. The latter's fine. I think it might add a new dimension to the proceedings.
Welcome to another Mike and the Rich Meister.
There you go.
There's a morning zoo show.
Yeah.
Coming up next on Other Mike and the Rich Meister, we've got your tickets to see One Direction and phone scams.
Right. I wouldn't be diametrically opposed to that, Michael.
Okay.
And meeting One Direction if they came in studio.
Yeah. Well, too bad they broke up, but maybe you can get a maybe half direction, part of the group that's still together.
I think maybe we could get them together.
Maybe.
I'm pretty persuasive.
That'd be big
Have
for
you seen me order a pizza?
Yeah.
I can get exactly what I want on that sucker.
Right. Unlike me, for people who don't know, and that's everyone because no one listens to this, I cannot digest cheese. So about one out of every 4 times I go to a restaurant, I get cheese on my order, and nothing sends me into a blind rage faster.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it happen, folks.
Yeah. Right. I've gone from
It's like the Hulk.
Right. I'm kind of like the handsome boyfriend in a Lifetime movie. I go from being very smiley and nice to John Stamos 1992 angry really freaking fast.
Did you ever see that?
Which one?
He did that Lifetime movie where he's a killer.
He's done a lot of Lifetime movies.
John Stamos has?
Right, which brings us, Rich, you and I...
So prolific.
Well, what happens is, he was big in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
He went away for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Had to do nothing but Lifetime movies.
Oh, yeah.
Until the nostalgia craze started up, and now he's a hot commodity again.
You're right.
And actually, Rich, you and I have... kicked around an idea of a podcast, because I got to be honest with you, I'm getting kind of sick of talking politics and news.
Sure.
This whole election cycle and what's happened since the election cycle, I'm just sick of opinions.
You're fatigued, man.
Especially mine.
I can see it on your face.
Like in the middle of recording one of these podcasts, I'm listening to myself, what do I give a shit what this guy thinks? And then that guy turns out to be me.
You are fatigued.
So I was thinking, why don't we spread a little joy? And the idea
is always my philosophy.
What's that?
To spread joy.
Right. You're the official joy director of the Turn the Radio Off Radio Empire.
Thanks, man.
I guess this is a scoop here. Perhaps one day this year we may launch a podcast called Not Without My Lifetime. And it's you and I, a couple of side-gendered heterosexual males.
Yeah.
We watch Lifetime
most
movies.
part.
Right. Yeah,
as much as you can be this day and age.
Right, it's fluid. That type of thing's fluid nowadays, and that's fine. I'm cool with it. But you and I would watch Lifetime movies.
Yeah.
And then we'd discuss them.
I'm thoroughly pleased with this idea.
Either that or Beverly Hills 90210, which I got into for about a week.
The old one or the new one?
The old one.
Is that where they eat at the Peach Pit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of numbers on that show. I wasn't big on math.
No. Well, the genius of that show is you had two dreamboats. You had your Brandon Walsh,
Yeah.
who was your straight-laced overachiever.
What are you, like 45 when he was doing that?
They were
He was
all
playing
40.
An 18-year-old?
They were all 40. That's what was really weird. And then you had Dylan,
Dylan,
who was just as equally as dreamy as Brandon, but he was the bad boy.
Okay. Is he the one who died in the car crash? Didn't something like that happen?
I don't know, because I didn't see that much of the series.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Somebody might have. I'm sure people died at... And these would all be questions that would be answered on our possible podcast about 90210.
Oh, man. It would be a forum.
Right. It would be. And like I said, nostalgia's very big.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that would really take off.
Wasn't Kelly Kapowski on that show for a little bit, or was that Melrose Place?
No, she was on that show, but there was already a Kelly on that show, so she was Valerie.
Oh.
And she had a thing for Dylan because she was trying to take over Brenda's life. See, I've already watched too much of the show. This is why I cannot be left home alone during the afternoon.
I think that she's still a babe. I have an eternal crush on Tiffany Amber Thiessen, I think. She got rid of the Amber, didn't she?
Did she?
Where the hell did the Amber go?
Did she marry out of the Amber?
Look that shit up.
I don't know.
Sorry I told you what to do.
That's okay.
I'm a guest on your show. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, you're very rude. But you know what? Since you're a guest, I'll give you one strike. And I'll tell you what. Tiffany Amber Thiessen probably looks a lot better now than Lark Voorhees does.
Oh.
If you've seen those pictures of Lark Voorhees, which I was always a Lisa guy. Mm-hmm. These are great pictures, but I don't know how old these pictures of Tiffany Amber Thiessen are.
Yeah. Ooh, go to that second one. Holy cow.
Right there. I mean, Rich, you have the power to do this yourself.
Yeah, I know.
You go, go to a computer. You type in GOOGLE, and then once you get there, you type in Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me get a sheet of paper
Yeah.
and write this shit down.
And
can I say these words?
It's
a
the internet.
podcast,
Yeah, it's the internet.
right?
Nobody's listening. So,
All right.
but
Filthy rich.
like I said earlier,
Yeah.
you are you adopted this alter ego for yourself recently.
Sure.
You've gone from Rich Luzenski to Rich Meister.
As you know, I'm constantly reinventing myself.
Much like, pardon me, much like Madonna constantly reinvents herself, and she reinvented herself over and over and over until she became Lady Gaga,
That's right.
who recently performed at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh, man.
Great show.
Did she ever?
You and I, as Renaissance men, you and I are big fans of Lady Gaga.
No doubt.
You watched it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you thought it was fabulous like everyone
what?
else.
Spectacular.
The funny thing is, though, that there is all these people out there, okay? The people who like to call other people snowflakes, they were worried before the halftime show even happened, before kickoff even happened, that Lady Gaga was going to get political.
Oh, yeah.
And they're posting all these memes. Dear NFL, if Lady Gaga gets political at the Super Bowl halftime show, we're going to turn off the NFL forever.
Yeah,
Signed America.
Wasn't there like a proposed blackout or something?
I guess so, but there's all these grown adults who are afraid of this 5'0" woman saying something that they were going to disagree with during the Super Bowl.
Right.
And I don't know. See, I one of two things I've taken away from this. Number one, there's this big there's this big groundswell of opinion out there that politics should be kept out of entertainment and sports and all that stuff because people think of it as an escape, right? Mm-hmm. And up until maybe a year ago, I might have agreed with that, but I feel like ever since this election happened, Donald Trump, who was already a celebrity,
Sure.
has kind of brought politics and everything, and maybe not so much himself, but he was the catalyst. And I feel like there's almost no choice nowadays but to get political with things because it seems like it's permeated everywhere.
You think so, huh?
I really think it has.
I think...
Go ahead.
I think if you're asked about it, that's one thing.
Yeah.
If you just go right out and put it on display, while that is certainly your right under free speech, I don't necessarily know how much you have to do that.
Well,
You think they're not given a choice? You think they have to be?
Well,
I think people will often paint them into a corner where they make them make their views known. But do you think are you saying you think in order to get attention, you have to go out there and be political?
Well, maybe...
Or maintain some sense of...
Maybe I need to rephrase that. I think that we're at a point now in our country where everybody has a political opinion. And we have a choice, right? We can either decide what kind of entertainment we consume, who we become a fan of artistically, even where to shop, where to eat based on political preferences. Because I feel like everyone's kind of wearing their political preferences on their sleeves right now.
Yeah, you think so, huh?
I think, and not just celebrities. I'm talking about us as a public. Okay, right? I mean, you go on Facebook, and people who weren't really paying attention to politics to begin with, now everyone's posting article from whatever news source validates their point of view.
Let me cast our minds back, yes, if I may.
Let me just finish the point first.
Certainly.
So you can either base what you consume, whether it be entertainment-wise, food-wise, shopping-wise, based on whose politics you agree with. Or you say, look, I don't care about people's politics. If I want to shop at Nordstrom's or buy an Ivanka Trump dress, not me personally, but
I'd like to see you in one.
But a lot of companies are kind of making political stands, and you can either base your decisions as a consumer on that, or you can say, look, I'm going to put politics aside and I'm just going to use the products I like and not care. Mm-hmm. I'll go see the movies I want to see with the actors I want to see, regardless of their political opinion, because I like their work. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry. Cast our mind back now, Rich.
Well, I was going to say a fabulous point that you made, I think, a couple of years ago.
Me?
Last time that I appeared on your program.
It's been that long, huh?
You were talking about how it's not necessarily that everybody is totally and completely politically charged. It's that very often the people who are the loudest get the most attention.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yes. And I think that was so articulate and such a good point, and I think that sort of applies now, where it might appear as if everybody is holding a political view and is putting their political view on display because there are so many loud people now. And tying back to your whole point with Trump being the catalyst,
right?
So many people have now felt that their political views are being questioned and attacked, and they're fighting back on both sides, actually.
Right, or they're preemptively saying, hey, this is what I believe.
Yes, as is the case with the whole Super Bowl thing. Which is ironic, too, because all those people were proving themselves to be snowflakes, if you want to use that term, which I thought was another great point that you made.
Well, thank you.
Certainly. And by the way, I didn't think anything she did was political at all.
No, there was a couple of people who, are more woke than me who said, oh, well, she subversively made an anti-Trump point by singing "This Land Is Your Land" because I guess the day of the immigration ban, people were singing that at LaGuardia. Vanity Fair wrote a piece saying, hey, straight people, you missed that Lady Gaga was singing a pro-gay anthem when she sang "Born This Way." And I'm like, wait a second, everybody knows that's a pro-gay anthem.
Sure.
And that's something Lady Gaga would do regardless of who's president. So
I don't think we're covering any new ground there.
I mean, I got to say, it might have been a masterful halftime show where the majority of people who didn't want her to get political said, oh, she didn't get political. And then the people who were kind of looking for some way for her to stick it in the eye of someone subversively, they kind of said, yeah, way to go, Gaga. And it seems like...
That's very smart on her part.
It really is.
That was the case.
And it seems like, as divisive as things have been, and they seem like they've been more divisive now than any time I've been alive, we finally got a halftime show that sort of pleased all sides.
Yeah, everybody loved it.
Yeah.
My mom, who probably leans more on the conservative side, thoroughly enjoyed the halftime show. She loved it. She thought Gaga was fabulous, and she even really enjoyed the pre-interview that she saw with her, where Gaga was opening up and actually talking about just how difficult it is for her to have a conversation with a regular person. That was something she desires.
Because she's so famous, people are starstruck, and she can't just... She just can't shoot the breeze with Joe Schmo.
Mm-hmm. And she really misses that aspect of her life. And my mom really liked that and really empathized with that.
Right.
It's so strange to see my mom
Right.
being all pro Gaga.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything wrong with that. I think it's great.
Yeah. Well,
I've always liked her as an entertainer.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because, when you're famous as she is, at some point, Stephanie Germetta goes away, and Gaga just sort of takes her place.
Yeah.
But, if I was Lady Gaga, maybe I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should have gotten political, because there was really nothing in that Super Bowl performance for people to complain about. Universally, everyone thought she did a great job. Mm-hmm. So, of course, the internet's got to find something to rail on.
Yeah.
And it turns out that she had somewhat of a gut at the end of her performance when she came out wearing the hot pants and sort of the leotard, showing her midriff that looked like a football jersey.
Oh, see, I didn't even notice that.
I mean,
you go back to the tape?
I did, but you know what? Big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like her 0.5% body fat was all right there, and chances are it was probably being all squeezed in the same place.
Yeah.
Because of her tight outfit.
Yeah.
But it's like, look, number one, people out there don't want to admit that Lady Gaga's hot. Mm-hmm. And it's so weird. I would imagine that most of the people talking about Lady Gaga's gut probably have a much bigger gut than she does.
Oh, yeah.
And
have you seen Meatloaf lately?
Right.
He's a performer.
I feel like Meatloaf would be pro Gaga, and he probably wouldn't say... Meatloaf wouldn't say anything about Gaga's gut, man.
No, I don't think so either.
But, I don't know. It's so weird. We just have to find something to make a controversy.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's part of the reason why you're so fatigued.
That could be.
I think it's one of the major reasons that you are fatigued.
Because everyone's terrible.
Yeah.
It's Turn the Radio Off on the internet.
Less rock, more talk. Turn the radio off.
Become a fan at peoplehatemypodcast.com.
What is Jack?
Jack is great stuff. Oozy. Jack is stretchy.
You can pull it. Make Jack sounds.
How rude.
Suck it up and squirt it out with a Gak back. Pump it up and blow it up with a Gak inflator.
Well, I never.
Nickelodeon Gak comes in different colors, sizes, and playsets, each sold separately. Coming soon from Mattel.
Disgusting.
It's sometime in the future. The ultimate challenge. Crossfire. Crossfire. You can count. Crossfire. Crossfire. You can count. Crossfire. 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 You'll get caught up in it.
So much fun. It's scary. Become a fan on Facebook at www.ttroshow.com. It's Turn the Radio Off.
Judging by all the Pro Flowers commercials on the radio, Rich, that can mean one thing.
A funeral's coming up.
Could be. And well, you know what?
It's a Rose Bowl.
Depending on what you get your lady for Valentine's Day, there might be a funeral. The point I was getting at is Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yeah,
and I'm doing something with my wife Chelsea from Lincoln Park that I never thought. We're taking a weekend trip to Bloomington, Indiana, to meet one of our favorite internet cats. And the funny thing is, she didn't have to twist my arm too much to do it.
I love it.
Yeah, Little Bub.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's one of your favorites.
Little Bub's a girl, Rich.
She's
not
one of your favorites.
Yeah, she is. She is. And
we're having a good time.
Look, I'm allergic to cats. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Do you tell me about? Oh wait, no, whatever.
Cats and dogs.
Yeah,
cats and dogs. And one of my wife's great sacrifices in life is that she chose to marry me, which means we can never have a pet.
Right.
So, in their stead, we follow famous internet cats, and we talk about them like they're our children. And it's changed me, man. Would you have thought 10 years ago the wild and crazy bachelor that you knew as me would take a trip to another state to pet an internet cat.
I can't say I would have put it past you.
Okay.
Well, you're like you said, you're a Renaissance fellow.
Well, things you do for love. Mm-hmm. Love of cats.
I know earlier today, I don't know if I can reveal this.
What the hell?
You were telling me about how you and Chelsea were thinking about perhaps getting a pet pig.
Yeah.
And there's actually a controversy involved in that. I had no idea.
Well, number one, pigs have the same hair and skin as humans, so I wouldn't be allergic.
Right.
Plus. Yeah. My only reservation is that there's horror stories about people thinking they're buying teacup pigs.
Stories.
Yeah, boar stories of buying these little teacup pigs and thinking that they're only going to be 10 pounds and they grow to be 400 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
So if anyone has a full-grown pig that's under 20 pounds, hit me up.
You'd like to know more about
Facebook,
that.
I would like to know more.
You would like to know more.
Facebook.com/TTRO show. I think that's the same one. But I don't know, Rich, if you've ever struck out really bad on Valentine's Day or any time in your love life.
Oh, well, sure. I think everybody has.
But at least you're not Central Michigan University. I got to make sure I get the name of this group right. This just came across my purview here. College Republicans at Central Michigan University. They had a Valentine's Day party. They made Valentines. They put these Valentines into different people's bags.
Okay.
And one person, one Weisenheimer, and this is going to be very offensive, so I apologize. I'm just reporting what happened. Someone put a Valentine with a picture of Hitler in it that said, I love you with the fire of 6,000, and then you can kind
6 million, you mean?
Well, it said 6,000.
Oh.
Burning, and we all know what that was. It was the person who discovered it posted it on Facebook, and of course the college Republicans at Central Michigan University are denouncing it, saying it was just one guy, which I believe.
Sure.
I don't think that. As much controversy as there have been with the alt-right and everything, I believe that most people of all political parties are sane, rational people who mean well. Yeah. And although some people on the alt-right have been called Nazis, I believe that the majority of Republicans are not. Yeah. I think that should go without saying, but you have to clarify yourself these days.
Not a connection that I would immediately make.
And to be honest, I feel bad for the college Republicans at Central Michigan University because now they're getting painted with this broad brush.
Yeah, that's too bad.
And so they came out instantly and denounced it.
Yeah, I do want to make just a technical comment here.
Yes.
Not that it's, totally applicable to your point, but whoever this person was, obviously it was a terrible thing they did.
Right.
It's also a very ignorant thing because it was 6 million, wasn't 6,000.
Right.
It was 6 million Jewish folks.
Yeah.
Who were just obliterated off of this planet.
And I'm not really much of a conspiracy theorist, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was someone, this was a plant, someone trying to make the organization look bad.
Yeah, that could have been.
So,
that's too bad.
Hope they get to, but I don't know, what should the person's punishment be? Should they be expelled? Should they be, that's a pretty heinous thing that they did. But
it is. You get into the gray area of hate crimes.
Right.
And I don't even necessarily know what that kind of jurisdiction is because there's freedom of speech and all of that gets filtered in. And there's a lot of terrible stuff that, the KKK is able to post and put out there. And people can hate it, but they don't get in legal trouble with it.
And it's funny, too, because there's a lot of stuff on Facebook that's some of it's just heinous hate speech.
Oh, yeah.
And you try to, it's either blatant lies about somebody or depicting someone in high power, their ethnic group in a demeaning way. Mm-hmm. And I don't report much. I've reported some things, and really, there's nothing they can. They'll unless you're making an actual threat to somebody.
Right. That's where it crosses the legal line anyway.
Which maybe, I don't know if you're talking about violently murdering 6,000 of a certain ethnic group, maybe you can find a way to turn that into a threat. I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't know.
I think it probably wouldn't hold up too terribly well in court, though.
Yeah, I think maybe...
there might be an investigation.
Well, the thing is, as far as I know, Central Michigan's a public university.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, as a public university, if if this was a private college, the private college would have full authority to expel whatever student did this. But if they're a public university, you don't know what kind of red tape.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Right. The worst I ever struck out on Valentine's Day, Rich, is I made a mixtape for a young woman my junior year of high school.
Oh.
And she ditched me for her best friend, so I threw that mixtape in the garbage.
Ooh.
You know what, though? It served me right.
Yeah.
Because when I met her, she was dating a guy I knew from hockey. So it was it was the first hot chick who was ever into me, so I didn't know what to do, and I kind of lost my head.
You were looking good because you lost all that weight because of your
I had jaw surgery.
Wisdom teeth removed or whatever?
Well, I had jaw surgery my summer of 10th grade.
Yeah.
And... because I didn't wear my rubber bands and I hit my growth spurt. So for a whole summer, I couldn't I couldn't eat solid foods.
You got a great jaw.
Thank you. You think so?
Oh, yeah.
That's good because it was expensive.
No. I know so.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome. And I would like to see that high school picture of you put on Facebook. People deserve to see that.
No. Just imagine me now, but thinner.
You got those dreamy blue eyes.
Right. I still got those.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, but for some reason, that photo really showcases all your best features.
Well, Rich.
In my opinion.
Well, Rich.
I hope you don't mind me saying that.
Senior pictures are not reality.
You're right.
And, they Photoshopped me quite a bit.
Mine was pretty real.
Yeah.
Have you seen mine?
Yeah, I've got it hanging on my refrigerator. Oh.
You did one of those things where you turned me into a dog.
Right.
Remember?
On Snapchat.
Your lady did, your wife.
On Snapchat.
Your beautiful, very dynamic wife, Chelsea.
Thank you for saying that's very nice of you.
Certainly.
But, this whole political theater that's been happening recently, if I watched House of Cards, I would probably think that it was like House of Cards, especially with this immigration thing, which, by the time you actually listen to this, there might be new developments in it. First, Donald Trump signs an executive order saying that all people coming from 7 countries in the Middle East, they can't come into the country, our country, some of which were signed while people were actually up in the air. So
people who had green cards. Think
about how terrifying that is. You're on your way home, and then in the 10, 15 hours you're actually on a flight, an executive order is signed into law, and you can't go home.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, what was it? It was a judge. He put a temporary stop to it.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Bannon, who is Donald Trump's chief strategist, he goes to Homeland Security and says, get rid of that stay that judge put in order and reinstitute the travel ban. John Kelly, the Secretary of Homeland Security, tells Steve Bannon to get bent because Steve Bannon is not in his chain of control. And now it's up to the Ninth Circuit right now to decide whether the travel ban stands or if it's unconstitutional and it can't be honored.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I don't know. See, what I'm wondering here, Rich, is if this is new or if it's just such good political WWF type theater that it's just being reported more, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, I think it is good that it's being reported. However, I think it would have been nice if the overall media had reported when President Obama did the same thing with Christians coming from Iraq.
Yeah, and you know what? That was a big...
because that lasted for 6 months, too.
Yeah.
That wasn't like a 24-hour period where some people were...
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was a big retort when people are speaking out against it. And as someone who's not a fan of this travel ban, all I could say is shame on me for not knowing about it in 2011.
Yeah, I wasn't paying much attention. I wish I had heard inklings of it, but I didn't put it prominently on my radar.
And I think maybe what happens is people are getting more bent out of shape because of sort of the fiery rhetoric that Donald Trump was using on the campaign trail, saying he was going to. Barack Obama did it kind of in secret.
Yeah.
And I do think, I'm not a big blame the media guy. And maybe I'm becoming one because this is like the third time in 3 podcasts I've said I'm not a big blame the media guy. But I think people do have a point, at least in this case, when they say that this is being covered more than Obama's ban back in 2011, because it's true.
I would agree with that.
Because it's true. I know nothing about it.
Absolutely.
The only thing I guess I would say is that, shame on us for not knowing about it. But on the other hand, I don't think that bad behavior in the past should be used to justify bad behavior
Certainly
in the present.
not. No.
Yeah. So, whether you like what's going on or not, it definitely is. It's definitely entertainment. It's definitely a white knuckle ride.
I would like to make a delineation here.
Yeah, go ahead.
My statement wasn't necessarily, and I think you already know that.
You weren't trying to justify it.
No,
but
I'm just saying that I wish we had been more aware,
Yes.
and I wish that the media would have been more vigilant in that case. And perhaps, you learn from your mistakes. Maybe Donald Trump wouldn't have been so intense and so determined to do that had he seen the outcome and the backlash that would have possibly gotten.
I think what he's
Unless
doing...
people just didn't care.
Right. No, and I 100% got that. You weren't justifying it.
Right.
And I agree with your point. Like I said, I'm kind of mad we heard nothing about the 2011 travel ban.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all I can say is, hey, my bad.
Right.
I try to be fair. I try to be fair when I can. But if you speak out against one thing, you can't speak out against like everything else.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I forgot what I was going to say. So why don't we hit a break and turn the radio off on the internet?
Yeah, you regroup cerebrally.
Yeah, I'm going to take a deep breath and get this thing back.
I can't wait to see that.
Turn the radio off. With Mike Parsons,
No drug dealers living next to me. Pretty good deal.
Kyle Bauer.
Yeah.
People hate my podcast.com.
Coffee, decaf, tea, and hot chocolate. Those are the hot drinks that you serve, so get set. Hot cups come in 2 sizes. Small and large to fill as the need arises. Coffee's holding time is 30 minutes, that's so long. It can stay there before it starts to taste too strong. Hot, careful when you pour it. Hold it steady upon the counter, let it sit. Pour it in until the coffee reaches the line. Pop a top on it, gets a lid every time. Wendy's coffee tastes so fine. Hot drinks really get you going. Warms you up when you feel you're slowing. Wendy's, we always serve it right away. Have a smile and have a nice day. Next is the cafe brew, it's just like coffee. Use the orange pot, it makes it easier to see. But if you're using the packets in your store, put it in the small cup and furthermore, add hot water up to the line and stir it in. Put a lid on and serve it on a tray again. Get a small cup when you're ready for hot tea. Fill with hot water, it's easy as can be. Put the lid on and set the tea bag on the top. If they want lemon, it's very nice. Don't think twice, give the guests a juicy slice. Hot drinks really get you going. Warms you up when you feel you're slowing. Wendy's, we always serve it right away. And a smile and have a nice day. Grab a small cup when you're making hot cocoa. Pour the packet and then you add your H2O. Use a clean spoon and stir it till it's all mixed up. Toss the spoon out and put the lid on the cup. Things are really looking up. Hot drinks really get you going. Warms you up when you feel you're slowing. Wendy's, we always serve it right away.
non-stop alt-talk alternative for 1 hour a week. Turn the radio off. Become a fan at peoplehatemypodcast.com.
Well, with how controversial Donald Trump has been since the beginning of the election season, I feel like there are some people who are collateral damage. And to tell you the truth, I do feel kind of bad for his daughter, Ivanka Trump.
Do you?
I do. I think that after all is said and done, I think she will leave the next 8 years with a very high Q rating. I think that, I think that despite how polarizing her dad is, I think that, number one, she hasn't really done or said anything objectionable.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
But
in the public eye, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. There was a little bit of controversy on the day of the travel ban, where there's a bunch of immigrants or people from other countries being detained at airports. And later on that night, she posted a picture of her and her husband, Jared. God, what the heck's his name? I'll Google in a second.
O'Connell.
It was Jared Trump. I think it's Jared Kushner. But they were going to a black tie event, and people thought it was bad optics that they were posting a picture of themselves going to a high-scale, opulent party while people were in, being detained at the airport. And maybe it was. To me, that was more kind of a PR slip-up than anything else. But there's an executive order that Donald Trump was going to sign, having to do with LGBT rights and LGBT workplace benefits. He was going to sign an executive order, Donald Trump was, to repeal benefits for LGBT.
Really?
Yeah. When Ivanka Trump and her husband, who they're actually social democrats, talked him out of it.
Oh, good.
So I think that out of everyone sort of in the whole Trump camp, I think when it comes to people who oppose President Trump's views, she's probably going to be the most saving grace to him when it comes to that.
I was happy to hear what you just said there. I didn't realize that she talked him out of that. Yeah. I didn't even know he was going to sign that.
Well, that's the thing.
Are we sure that was actually on the radar?
Yeah, I just looked it up.
Wow. Who reported it?
Let me find a source here. Ivanka Trump.
My goodness.
LGBT. Let's see. Politico, New York Times.
Wow.
Telegraph UK. And this is the point that I was going to make that I forgot at the end of last time. I think right now Donald Trump is testing the waters. I think he's seeing how much he can get away with, and that's why he's signing so many executive orders. I mean, signing so many executive orders right now, we can't keep track of it. But nonetheless, Ivanka Trump and her husband stepped in and said,
they intervened.
Yeah, don't. So I think that although a lot of these department stores are getting rid of her product line right now, and I guess as a business decision, you got to do what you got to do, right? If you're a business, if you're a department store, your goal is to sell as much product to as many people as possible.
Yes.
And in order to do that, you don't want to alienate half of your shopping public. Even though you can make an argument that getting rid of Ivanka Trump's clothing line because of what her dad says politically is going to alienate a large group of people who identify with him.
Yeah, I would say that. Also, you're removing... Were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
You're removing the choice from the consumer when you do that. When you remove something right off of when you take it off the shelf for a political reason, you're saying I'm no longer allowing the American people to decide whether or not a product is worthy of being displayed, whether or not it's earning its rent by actually selling. You're just taking it away completely. There might be people
at least at that store. I mean, it's still available, as Kellyanne Conway said on Fox and Friends.
Yeah. Right,
and it's available online, which got her in a little bit of hot water.
Right, but I still don't think. I think companies should allow people to make that decision for themselves because there probably are a lot of people who don't like Donald Trump but might like that handbag.
Right,
and who cares?
And that's what I'm saying. People, we're almost getting forced to make political decisions.
Yeah, I see what you're saying now, the way that it's permeating basically all elements
like
of
Chick-fil-A.
society.
Right,
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
the owner of Chick-fil-A was asked for his thoughts on gay marriage, and he says he's against them. So what happened is a bunch of liberals boycotted it. A bunch of conservatives flocked to it, sort of like a reverse boy, which I see is going to happen with Ivanka Trump. I think this. I think this news and what Kellyanne Conway did, they might land her in hot water because she went on Fox and Friends and gave a shout out to Ivanka Trump's clothing line, which you're not allowed to do as a government official.
Yeah.
And then Donald Trump shooting off at the mouth on his Twitter page.
Oh yeah.
I think what's going to happen is something similar. Is a bunch of people are going to do sort of a reverse boycott and buy a whole bunch of Ivanka Trump gear. But so Chick-fil-A. So now eating Chick-fil-A,
You're making a political statement by eating a sandwich. See, that's what pisses me off.
right? But you know what? If I want waffle fries, I want waffle fries.
Exactly.
Same thing with Burger King. Burger King came out with their gay Whopper.
Right.
Bunch of conservatives said, I'm not eating Burger King anymore. Bunch of liberals said, I'm a vegetarian, but I'll go eat at Burger King to support the cause.
Sure.
I don't want to be known as a liberal or conservative if I just want to eat a Whopper.
Right.
I'm just a fat guy who wants red meat.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to convey.
Yeah.
And, whether or not something sells should be determined. And in my opinion, this is going to sound like a very, I suppose, conservative statement, but I think it really should be determined by the free market.
Yeah.
I mean, people flocking to something for whatever reason. Okay, those people actually are determining that using the free market. If I'm not going to buy something for a political reason, okay.
Well, I believe Nordstrom's did say that since the election, sales of Ivanka Trump merchandise have been going down. So maybe that might be it. But I'm sure, Rich, that it was on a shorter leash than a lot of other product lines when it came to making that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I would just feel so overwhelmed if I kept track of all of that stuff. I wouldn't be able to buy anything, I don't think.
Well, it's funny because I have a sister. She's very liberal, and she's liberal because she has a very good heart. Not saying conservatives don't have a good, but the reason why, because she cares very deeply about a lot of different things. And when she first went to college, she would always tell me, hey, don't go to Taco Bell because their tomatoes are picked by migrant workers. Hey, don't eat at this place. Don't shop at this place. In every business, they have some unethical practice, and you're right. If you boycotted every business that acted unethically, you'd have to grow your own food off the grid.
Yeah, you're right. And then somebody could say, oh well, you're taking work from farmers now. Why are you doing that?
Right. So, but and so I guess going back to the decision I was talking about, unless somebody like comes out and they make a stance for something I find very, very objectionable, I'm just gonna base my what I buy off what I like.
Yeah. And again, that's the free market. Yeah. Also, too, I just wanted to bring up our good friend Dave Kim, a mutual friend of ours, a wonderful person. I remember him talking about how much he liked Chick-fil-A, and he had to put a disclaimer on there that he didn't hate gay people.
Right.
And I thought that's so unnecessary. People know you, Dave. They love you. They know you don't hold animosity toward anybody.
But I think a lot of it, too, is it's funny, and I knew this was going to happen. On Election Day, it seemed like conservatives started using tactics that liberals were using the past 8 years, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's like they almost switched because pretty much, sort of when it comes to arguments and pushing an agenda, there's only a certain amount of tactics that you can use, and depending on which side's in power and which side's not in power, so that's where you get both sides doing things that they used to accuse the other side of doing. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're using the same playbooks, just somebody's grabbing it.
Like the TSA, okay? The TSA and Homeland Security. After 9/11, the conservatives, because Bush was in power, saying, oh, we need to beef up airport security, keep us safe from terrorists, and then the liberals like, no, that's an overreach, people's civil liberties. And then when Barack Obama was in power, the TSA,
right.
Conservatives were saying what liberals used to say about the TSA. Conservatives were saying about the TSA what liberals used to say about Homeland Security,
yes,
and vice versa. So I think there's a lot of people out there, especially with the fact that Congress is majority Republican. I think there's a lot of people out there who feel angry and helpless and don't really know what to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of this politicalization of everything has come from. And it's been this way probably since post 9/11, because after 9/11, there was a huge change in news coverage, right? The biggest scandal in the country's history before 9/11 was, Bill Clinton fooling around with an intern in the Oval Office.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since 9/11, it's been, whatever the opposite side is doing something nefarious and they're trying to ruin your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like that since halfway through the Bush term. So now everyone is all worked up. Everyone's afraid. All this anger, all this, discrimination and prejudice and blaming the other side. Fear's the jockey that's riding that horse.
You see, fear it's stemming from fear.
Right. And so I think, people, when their point of view is not in power, they feel powerless. And the only power that they feel they have is the power of the purse string.
Yeah. You are right with that. I would agree.
So, anyway, let's turn the radio off on the internet.
Turn the radio off with Machine Gun Mike Parsons.
And guess what? Life isn't fair. You don't always get what you want.
And Kyle Avocado Bauer.
Oh, zombie preparedness kit. I'm a zombie. Lols.
We'll be back in seconds. Turn the radio off. With more Turn the Radio Off.
You've got mail.
On the internet.
So, let me repeat your order here. That'll be 1 double cheeseburger, ching. Large fries and a large soda, ching. 2 kids meals and 2 medium sodas, ching. 1 chicken sandwich, large fries, and a vanilla milkshake, bada bing. That'll be $62.75. We're a little shy.
Remember when you could feed your whole family fast food for less than $10? Well, at Rally's, you still can. Rally's has it right. It's sometime in the future. The ultimate challenge. Crossfire. Crossfire. You can count. Crossfire. Crossfire. You can count. Crossfire. 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 You'll get caught up in it.
Turn the radio off. Tell your friends about us. Make them like us on Facebook.
I am not sure if we are broadcasting properly.
Turn the radio off. Online and worldwide. TTROshow.com.
Rich Luzenski, the Rich Meister.
I'm back!
In for Kyle this week, who's away at a pond hockey tournament for grown adults.
Think of all the algae.
That's true.
You think he's doing some ice fishing while he's out there, too?
I hope so.
He likes sushi.
Yeah. Can't get much fresher than that.
Oh, man. You can't get fresher sushi than when you go ice hockey ponding.
It's so fresh, the damn thing's still flapping.
That's
the
right.
damn thing's still struggling for breath like that PSA for asthma. You ever see that?
Oh, yeah.
It's very disturbing. I'm glad at the end they put the fish back in the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I hold my breath through that entire thing until they put the fish back in the water.
Right. It's empathy.
Yeah.
It's empathy. Rich, did you have a high school reunion? And if there was a high school reunion for your graduating class, did you go?
I did not. There was indeed.
We didn't have one.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, number one, I feel that actually I might go. It's funny because, the people I talk to now from high school are people that I didn't talk to in high school. I just come across their Facebook. We add each other. They post stuff that I'm interested in. We talk back and forth. But I feel like with Facebook, the reunion's kind of obsolete, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know everyone, what they're doing. Like your Aunt Helen said, I'm already friends with everyone I want to be friends with. But on Facebook, there was this very odd impromptu class reunion for my graduating class.
Did you report it as spam?
No, I didn't. Even though it centered around a story about a classmate of ours that went somewhat viral amongst members of my graduating class. There's this kid, took a bad path after high school. Was kind of a bad kid all through school. And he recently got out of jail on home invasion charges. Soon as he gets out of jail, he starts robbing houses again. He makes the news because he robbed the same house twice in one night. This house had one of these like high-definition security cameras.
All right.
And at one point, he looks right at the camera and starts to smoke a cigarette. So he gets busted, and he goes back to jail. And that story was all over the news, and people I went to high school with were posting it, saying, I'm not surprised. And at first, I'm thinking to myself, okay, all right, let's be above this. Let's turn the other cheek. But then the comments were talking about just how much he bullied people in high school and how people weren't surprised and how he terrorized and made other kids' lives a living hell and how karma's caught up to him. And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't get bullied too badly in high school, but, people picked on me, not to the point where I was scarred. But if they did, you'd like to think that you're above sort of taking glee in somebody else's misfortune.
Sure.
But maybe if they were terrible to you and they made your life a living hell at a time where you're very sensitive and it could be very damaging, maybe I wouldn't be able to be above it, and I might take a little bit of glee in the misfortune of someone who's mistreated me quite a bit.
That'd be a very human feeling.
Yeah,
I think.
And you know what? And I'm going to say, I think that's okay. I mean, as long as it's kind of internal and you kind of just sort of ha-ha to yourself and you don't really take any action on it, a private feeling is a private feeling, and as long as you keep it to yourself, I think that's fine.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I think a therapist would tell you that, too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't make a habit of it.
No.
And you certainly... There was an impetus for it. It wasn't like you were driving down the street, you saw somebody slip on a banana peel and hurt themselves.
Right, exactly.
Which is terribly funny. I think we can all admit.
Yeah.
But, there obviously there's a history to those folks. They're basing that feeling of glee off of a life experience that, for whatever reason, they have kept with them. I mean, he made a negative impact on their life.
And going back to feeling powerless.
Yeah. And perhaps it offers them a sense of empowerment to see, at least the law is taking this guy into judgment.
Right.
Giving him his just desserts, so to speak.
Because I think, and I have to be honest, Rich, and I think a lot of people are like this, I think I was equal part bullied and equal part did some bullying in high school. And I think what that is because if someone's picking on you, you feel powerless. So instead of kind of being the better person, you kind of take it on someone else so you can feel that type of power.
It's a very common thing, too, absolutely.
There's this one kid I was just terrible to in 4th grade. And 9th, 10th, or 11th grade, we're in high school. Turns out to be a good guy. And I apologized to him. And, this was a kid who was picked on by everyone in school. So, in a weird, perverse way, I was kind of lucky that I chose him to pick on because when I apologized to him, he said he didn't remember. Like, he looked at me and said, "What are you talking about?"
Oh, good.
So, phew.
Yeah.
But I remember the one kid who picked on me the most. I don't know if you know this, Rich, but I was a bit of an athlete in 9th grade. I played center for the freshman football team, and we stunk. we were a school that was used to winning championships, and we did not win one game. And there's this kid who I was friends with 2 years before because he was at my bus stop, and every day after a game, he would just tell me how we're an embarrassment to the school, and I would try to use my wit and try to zing him back, but he just didn't care. And then one day I just said to him, "What happened to you, man? You used to be cool."
Oh.
Like, sincerely.
Wow.
And that shut him right up.
Wow.
But luckily, it wasn't that bad because I only see him maybe for a half hour a day. He didn't get the whole school to pick on me. He was actually picked on a lot himself, so he's probably just perpetuating. So, I got lucky. Okay. Hello? There we go. I got lucky that...
How do I have control of your mic
I don't
over
know.
here?
It's what happens when you broadcast from a broom closet. But I got lucky that, as being picked on wasn't that traumatic for me.
Good.
But, there's been people I've dealt with in my adult life who could have really screwed things up for me.
Sure.
And if I find out they go to jail, I might chuckle to myself a little bit.
It's your prerogative.
Yeah.
I think as long as you're not obsessing over it.
Right. As long as I'm not going to county lockup and like hitting their jail bars with a stick or something. I don't know.
Look at me. I wonder what I'll do now that I'm leaving this jail like you can't do.
Right. Okay. Well, you know what? I guess I'm going to enjoy my freedom.
Right. Boy, the air sure does smell better when I'm not incarcerated.
I think what I'm going to go do, I'm going to go pump iron when I want to. Instead of during normal jail hours.
If I make a license plate, it'll be in a nice craft shop.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go not only choose what I'm going to eat, but what time I'm going to eat it.
I'll wear orange because it's on sale.
Those are privileges that you're afforded when you follow the law.
Absolutely.
Rich, this was a lot of fun.
I can't believe the time is up.
In fact, Kyle's fired. Why don't we do this again next week?
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't want to do that to Kyle, though.
Yeah. He's a good kid.
Oh, yeah. He's got important stuff to do, though, right
I
now.
hope he gets through customs okay.
I just hope he doesn't fall through the ice.
That's true. I don't know. With all these people who are allegedly fleeing to Canada with Donald Trump winning an election, maybe they've tightened down the borders a little bit.
He's got great hair.
Kyle?
Yeah.
Jet black.
Yeah, you ever run your fingers through it?
Not in a while.
Okay.
Not in a while. Have you ever noticed it's much easier to get into Canada than out of Canada?
Yeah.
Like you go to get into Canada, like have a great time, eh?
Right.
Then you get back. Then you're like trying to get back into America,
right.
And they're like, "I hear there's terrorists in Saskatchewan," and they pat you down.
I need to get one of them enhanced licenses. I haven't been to Canada in a while.
You should.
Let's go together.
Okay, sounds good. That's what we'll do right now.
All right.
Turn the radio off. Thanks for listening, Paul. Bye.